The U.S. decision to expand its scope of tariffs on steel and aluminum imports has sparked concerns here in South Korea. And this week, the Lee administration unveiled key details of its economic policy that it plans to achieve over the next 5 years. For more on this, we're joined by Professor Park Min-jung, a professor at the Department of Business Administration at Kumoh National Institute of Technology. Professor Park, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
So the U.S. recently expanded the range of products subject to steel and aluminum tariffs. Now, this raised concerns about their potential impact on Korean companies. What's your take on this? How should companies prepare for these new measures?
Yeah, the recent expansion of U.S. tariffs on steel and aluminum products is in the works of Korean companies, especially those in Korean sectors rely heavily on stable and cost, especially in those in Korean industries such as automotive, shipbuilding, and construction. These sectors actually, as I said, heavily rely on stable and cost-efficient access to these materials, and higher tariffs could drive production costs and reduce competitiveness in global markets. So what Korean firms need to recognize is that this is not one party and one-time policy move. It reflects further protectionist trends in U.S. trade policy. Therefore, companies from now on must adopt a dual strategy. First, diversify export markets, raw material sources to reduce reliance on the U.S., and also, secondly, shift toward higher value-added steel and aluminum products that are less vulnerable to tariff pressures. And additionally, the Korean policymakers should work closely with U.S. counterparts and international trade bodies to negotiate reduced damages or some exemptions. So in the long run perspective, companies that emphasize innovation and energy efficiency and sustainability in their production processes will be best positioned to weather these policy shifts.
Right, and on the domestic economic front, President Lee Jae-myung has pledged to lift South Korea's benchmark KOSPI index to 5,000 points during his 5-year term. How realistic is this goal?
Yeah, recently President Lee's pledge to raise the KOSPI up to 5,000 is highly ambitious and has significant symbolic value for the market. It could serve as a confidence booster for investors, but translating this into reality within only 5-year term will be very challenging. So the KOSPI is not only influenced by only domestic economies and domestic policies, but also influenced by various sectors such as capital flows and geopolitical risks or some of interest-related trends. So to approach this target realistically, now Korea will need to enhance corporate earnings through industrial restructuring and digital transformation and financial market reforms that improve transparency and governance. Attracting more foreign investments will also be critical now, so as it will be the development of future industries like semiconductors or AI and some green technologies. So maybe if these structural reforms are implemented effectively during President Lee's duration, the index could move closer or up to 5,000 KOSPI mark. However, more realistically, the investors and policymakers alike should view this more as a long-term aspiration, reflecting economic direction rather than a guaranteed short-term outcome. So it is very important to time this on and to focus on the quality and sustainability of growth than to simply chase a numerical target.
I see. And the Lee administration is also seeking ways to develop sectors such as artificial intelligence, aiming to achieve a potential economic growth rate of 3%. What are your thoughts on this target?
The administration's emphasis on AI these days very heavily and related sectors to achieve a potential growth rate of 3% is both timely and strategically important. Korea's economy is facing structural challenges, an aging population, and also stagnant productivity and slowing capital investment, which are very constricting growth. So AI can serve as a transformational driver by enhancing efficiency or automating complex processes in a lot of industries, enabling advanced manufacturing and opening up entirely new industries in healthcare or finance or some of logistics. But technology alone will not be enough. So to realistically achieve 3% of potential growth, Korea must complement AI adoption with broader ecosystem reforms, including regulatory barriers like a lot of flexibility to encourage innovation and also heavy investment in digital infrastructure and comprehensive education and training programs to build a skilled workforce. Collaboration between government, large corporations, and some startups will be essential to create a robust innovation ecosystem. So the key will be ensuring that productivity gains are shared broadly across industries and not concentrated only in few sectors.
All right, Professor Park, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.